No, don't record, dude. Don't record. I don't want to be recorded right now. I'm fat. I just had like cake and.
Shut your whore.
You gotta rock to the rhythm with them. Got to give it to them.
Hello and welcome to my review of the 2017 MacBook Pro. This is the 13-inch model without the touch bar. I opted to go for the non-touch bar version mainly due to the improved battery life. Also, based off the other reviews that I've watched on YouTube, the touch bar wasn't really worth it in terms of functionality and practicality. I've only had this laptop for about a month, but I've used it every day for hours on end, so I feel as though I'm finally ready to bring you guys a comprehensive review. I'll start off with the specs just in case anybody's wondering. This MacBook features a 7th gen dual-core i5 processor that's clocked at 2.3 GHz that turbos up to 3.6 GHz. It also includes the Intel Iris Pro 640 graphics, 8 GB of DDR3 memory, and 256 GB of PCIe-based storage. It also includes 2 USB-C ports on the left side and 1 headphone jack on the right. The screen has a native resolution of 2560 by 1600 at 227 pixels per inch, and I'll speak more about that later in this review. So you know the specs, but now let's discuss the experience. You can't review a MacBook Pro and not talk about the phenomenal build quality. And to be clear, I'm not just referring to how slim and sexy they look, but more specifically how well they're built. The MacBook is housed in an aluminum case, which gives it an incredibly sturdy feel. The lid opens up effortlessly, and the keyboard is clicky and responsive, thanks to Apple's 2nd generation butterfly switches, which, to be clear, are 1,000 times better than the 1st gen butterfly switches that could be found on the 12-inch MacBook. If you're coming from an older MacBook, you'll probably need a day or two to adjust, but after that, you'll find yourself falling in love with these keys. They're larger, sturdier, and more tactile. They're also a lot louder, but I personally love that, and it shouldn't be so loud as to actually disturb anybody. The backlighting looks amazing on these new keyboards. There's no bleed, it's just a clean, white light that emulates through the keycaps with plenty of brightness options to choose from, which is important if you're trying to get that light without draining your battery. On the topic of brightness, I feel as though now is a great time to discuss the Retina display. To this day, I've yet to come across a laptop screen as magnificent as the MacBook Pros. Now, if you've never seen one before, you might be wondering what the big deal is. Well, the high resolution in conjunction with the beautiful and vibrant colors makes this screen one of a kind. This laptop handles everything I throw at it, with the exception of gaming. And these days I do more console gaming than anything else, so that's really not a problem. I was shocked to see how well this laptop handled video editing in Final Cut Pro, and for web development, it's an absolute beast. I went ahead and installed Windows via Boot Camp Assistant, and I was pleasantly surprised at both how easy the setup was and how well Windows worked on Apple's hardware. I was very nervous about the trackpad not functioning properly, but to my surprise, it actually felt great. All of the drivers downloaded immediately, and the battery life is decent. I typically get about 7 hours on Windows and about 10 hours on Mac OS. I think a lot of people have the it's either Mac or Windows mentality, but in reality, you can have both. The glass trackpad feels smooth and responsive. It's also enormous, which isn't a bad thing. I love the additional space, and the ability to click anywhere is greatly appreciated. Palm rejection hasn't failed me once yet either. In conclusion, I love the 2017 MacBook Pro. It's built better than any other laptop I've ever used, it's still powerful enough for all my day-to-day needs, and the Retina display makes everyday use an absolute delight. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Kicking in the front seat, kicking in the back seat. Gotta make my mind up. Which seat do I take?
Keep that shit on Twitter. Y'all ain't lit, y'all litter.